Hey there, I'm Jess Burns. Welcome to the Jess Burns Show. This is where ambition meets alignment. I'm a VA coach, business strategist, and freedom mentor, and I help service-based women unleash their power, scale beyond booked out, and step into their CEO era. Expect real talk, practical strategies, and inspiring conversations with women who've built businesses on their terms. If you're ready to create more freedom, more income, and more impact, this is the space for you. I'm going to press the buttons and share my screen. Now, some of this is going to be a bit cluttered, but I thought it was a really great time to jump in and do this because I have changed my Jess Burns website over to Go High Level. And so I need to set up a lot of this again for that website. So I thought, great, what better way than to go through some of this? And I said to my team, here's my talking points. Can you throw them in a slide deck? So Beck will be happy with me of actually having some slides. So I'm going to go through and do some talking points, and then I'm basically going to jump off and dive in and do all the practical stuff that you know and love. And we can do it together, or we can, I can just go through it and you can do your thing, whatever that looks like. So what I wanted to go through today is around Google Analytics. So Google Analytics being the primary form and most accurate I have found in regards to getting data for websites, landing pages, etc. Beck, it could even be something for you just to take note of with landing pages, making sure that the clients that you're working with have this set up. One, because it's free. Two, because it'll give you a lot of information and data that if you went back in 6+ weeks time, you can see what's working, what's not working. So what we want to do in Google Analytics is I'm going to show you the path exploration option. I'm sure I've showed you this many, many moons ago, but it's something that I really love to do. And I try and look at it at least once a quarter. So when we're looking at our CEO rhythms as such, this is something that I do try and do at least once a quarter. It should be more frequent, but time. So what we're looking for are any leaks, any friction points, and anything broken in the customer journey. So it matters because if we have all this traffic and we're paying for all these ads and we're doing all these activities to send them to our website and then it doesn't do anything, then it doesn't mean a lot, right? So whilst we can still retarget through ads and we can put in place some other strategies, if there's a way that we can fix that in between, then we obviously want to. So for the most part, a lot of people don't have a traffic problem, they have a journey problem. So the client comes there, they get to the website, they can't find what they're looking for and they nick off, or it doesn't land, or it doesn't speak to them, right? And that's why this is really, really important. So when we go through this path exploration option, it will show you where people drop off, where they get stuck, or where they go before they buy, or just leave. So you'll be able to see all the steps, which is why I love it. And it's something that I use constantly, even in my one-on-one coaching through like the Business Center and the Digital Solutions Program. This is often something that I teach because for me, data is king. Like there is nothing better than data. Emma, I know you're a big nerd. You love some data. So it just anchors those numbers, right? The leaks that constantly will cost you money. So high traffic pages with exits, confusing product pages, broken journeys, and dead ends. So people go to a landing page and then it doesn't send them anywhere. It's not clear enough what action they should be taking. Which sounds really silly, but even sometimes the most basic of pages convert higher than the ones where we try and shovel the information on. Like, great example is my 100 services you can offer as a VA. It is the most basic, ugly landing page, and I hate it, but I don't change it because it converts so highly. But it's very, very basic. It's literally, here's a picture and here's the form, fill it out. Sometimes not all traffic is good traffic. So we can get the wrong people landing in our space. So, you know, it could cost you time, money, and focus with no return. So this could be different countries. It could be where you're appearing, how this shows up. And this will also show you, not directly, but you'll get a bit of an idea as to where these people can find you. So whether it's from socials or whether it's, you know, it might be from Pinterest, it might be from an article, maybe someone's posted something on you. Like, we want to try and work out where, if you are getting negative traffic or traffic that's not ideal, where is it coming from, so we can actually turn it off or change it or send it somewhere else, right? So I'm going to dive in over the next X amount of period of time around the pages and what they look like and how we tweak them and how we want them to look. But if the page is confusing, people don't buy. If there's too much going on, it's too hard and they leave. They don't want to figure it out. They just bounce. And it's funny because one of the key areas that I see this in, and I've probably shared this with you a million times, but when I worked for Wrigley, the difference between the stand being at the counter and in arm's reach versus being down the other end of the counter where someone can't just grab the gum, there's like a 70% drop in sales. So impulsivity, availability, and having it there and convenient, basically taking that decision away from them, people will convert at a much higher rate. And so we want to keep that in mind when we're building our landing pages and sending people to places. The easier it is to understand and know exactly what it is you do and who you help makes a big difference. So 404s, I want to look at this as well. So every 404 is a lost sale. Broken links and dead pages silently drain conversions and waste paid and organic traffic. So Alison and I went through this because she changed her theme on her Shopify store the other week. And so a lot of her URLs changed for whatever reason. I'm not a Shopify guru. That's not my thing. But when we actually went through this process and looked at what had been crawled and what hadn't been crawled and where the traffic was going, we found thousands, literally thousands of pages that people were going to that were 404 and they weren't able to buy. And we could actually track and go, okay, so they've gone from page 1 to page 2 to page 3 to a 404. So we could literally see their journey and work out where it was broken and work out which pages were broken as a result and how people were thinking. I don't know if there's anything on YouTube. I'm happy to go and have a look and see if there is. But the other cool thing, when I worked at Wrigley, I think Coke did it too, but Wrigley as well, they had this like virtual shopping experience. It was really crazy. And they did it at Woolworths head office in Sydney, where they basically put on VR, like goggle type scenario for a shopper. And the shopper goes into the store and they used the technology and a heat map to see where the shopper was looking. So if you go into the sauce aisle, for example, where were they looking first? What products were they looking at? What shelf height were they looking at? What was the first thing that they would see? And so they mapped out the whole supermarket based on that instinct and where their attention was drawn to. And some of the data that they got out of that is phenomenal. And I see this sort of stuff as the same for us, being that we're a bit more digital, a bit more path created, but still we want to understand, well, if we're snaking through the aisles, what is it we're looking for? When our clients are snaking through our aisles on our website, where are they going? What are they looking at? What are they seeing? What are they clicking on? So we can understand that really clearly and close more sales. Hello, dog. So we're going to go through and do this. Now, one of the things that as I said, I realized is that because I've just changed my website over, it's not connected. So I thought, you know what, rather than doing it and then coming back in here, and then coming in here, it's probably best to just do it all together. However, I will openly admit it's been a hot minute since I've done this. So I'm going to assume it's admin. And I'm pretty sure it is property data streams. JessBurns.com, that's the one. Beautiful. View tag instructions. Manual install. Google tag, copy and paste to every page of your website immediately after the head element. Do not add more than one Google tag to each page. Perfect. So just going to and I don't necessarily have to go in every page right this second to do it, but I will happily do a few so we can see. And then what I might do is swap over to my other website so that we can look at the data in between, because I don't know how long it actually takes to populate. So I want to go to code, tracking code, header tracking. So on every page, that's what we want to do. Have you girls done that? Have you got your Google tags in? Do you know?
I think I might have done it when I first set up, but I've added so many pages that I don't think I've done it to all of them.
Yeah, okay, cool. So it might just be a little check for you to have a look.
Sorry, I forgot to mention today that I'm actually at the centre for the entire week because our centre manager is on annual leave and the other person in management is in Sydney for training this week, and it just so happens to align. So yeah, sorry, I'm ducking out and ducking back in. That's what's happening.
I just thought you're being really rude.
I mean, the fact that I forgot to tell you, yeah, that would be rude.
It's fine. I'm just happy to be here, right? Like, you know, it's, I think that's the hardest part sometimes, because sometimes it would be easier to just not show up. Like it'd be easier to use it as an excuse. So good on you for still, you know, sticking to it and committing to it and still coming. And that actually sounds really disingenuous, but I don't mean it as like it was a genuine good for you, because I see people all the time doing not the right thing. All right, awesome. Test. It's not perfect. Done is better than perfect at times, as you ladies know. Okay, good. So that's not working. So I will go back and figure out why in a minute. But in the short term, I should be able to use my Totally Unleashed website. Yay, look at me go. All right. So, oh, sorry, dog. I got excited. When we come in here, first thing we're looking at, well, for the path exploration, I'm just going to go through that today, answer any other questions, and then if there's anything else, I can come back. But basically, left-hand side, we want to go to the little arrow squiggly thingy, explore, and path exploration. Now, I've got a gazillion here, but I'm just going to start a fresh one. Doesn't really matter in my opinion. All right, so lots of things happening, but there's a few key pieces that we really want to look at. Everything else, in my opinion, at the beginning is just noise. Do I think there's a lot more information in here than what we need? Absolutely. The idea here is we just take what we need for now, make the decisions, and then we can dive deeper at a later stage. So key things really, though, is we're looking at timing. So we're looking at last 28 days. You can go in and change that. So you can do last month, this month. As you know, I like to do month to month. It makes sense to me. And then the data is the same. So happy days. And then the next thing we want to change is the event name. So for this drop-down box here, we want screen name. I'm pretty sure is what it is. Yep, beautiful. Happy days. So out of 233 sessions from my website, 119 of them end up on my homepage. 51 not set. That's interesting. I need to see what this is, which is why this is a really good exercise. Free masterclass, Totally Unleashed directory, consultant, and then everyone else goes through. Cool. People checking out Emma, people checking out Tian. Beck's in there too, Leanne's in there, Trudy, and someone had to go in and reset the password. I know who that is because I asked someone to fix it up. Awesome. So out of 233 sessions, this is where everyone heads off to. Cool. So looking at this, I'm like, okay, so they started our homepage, big chunk at the homepage. Then what? This is terrifying. So I'm going to try and see what that is, because out of 119 people, that's a huge chunk from there. So they're going from the main Totally Unleashed page and then going to check everyone out, basically. That's a big, so it's really interesting. So people that are looking for VAs more so than people being a VA, potentially heading over that way. Now I am looking at changing the directory and how I set it up, because I think I can do it through Go High Level, but I haven't quite finished diving down that path yet. Okay, so that obviously is sending them back to the home page. So I'm going to assume that this is probably going to do the same thing. So to unselect those ones, no, interesting. So 51 not set, 10 went to the masterclass and 3 went back to the home. So another 40-ish, give or take some maths, have disappeared. So that for me is really concerning, right? Because I'm looking at this and going, well, where the hell's all my traffic going? Thoughts, questions, feelings so far?
I love it.
It's cool, right? It's very simple, very, very basic. But I also use this to go, okay, so out of all the things, where do I want to spend money and retarget ads? So for me, it would potentially even just be the homepage. So anyone who's landed to my homepage in the last 90 days, potentially, we could do a retarget ad of, do you want to be a VA? Have you thought about this? Have you, here's our free masterclass. Because then on the flip side, okay, so 17 people have gone there. How many people actually signed up? I should also flag that I hate my website at the moment currently also, and it's the next thing to get an overhaul. But again, done better than perfect. Have to suck it up a little bit. I actually think it is here.
I'm going for a bit of a branding changing my branding.
That's exciting.
It's just changing the orange to a gold.
Yeah, cool. That's fun.
I want to, like, my focus is more Lux, like a Lux service. Like that's my
awesome.
That's my niche.
Concierge feels very much like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so 30 visits. So a little bit different to what Google's telling us. And 2 opt-ins. Interesting. Contact us, opt-ins, yep. And then the rest go through the funnels. How often are you ladies looking at your data?
Never.
Given that I'm just putting in the heading tracker thingamy, no.
Target thingy.
I think the last time that you went through this with us, Jess.
Possibly. This is the other one that I wanted. So yeah, cool. 2. Okay, interesting. I mean, generally we want about 25% is usually a good number. I've actually seen a significant dip even in our ads this month. Very significant. I've never had such low numbers. There's some really interesting stuff happening, and even my no-show rate this month was the highest I've ever seen. And I'm yet to still dive into that, but this all comes into play. So, I've been looking at all the different things and been looking at targets and what we're doing. And, like when I look at my KPIs, this is what I started playing with the team. So we had 22 qualified leads, target of 40. That's okay. I don't know that I've ever had 40, and I dropped the ad spend, so that was okay. That's not right. Calls booked, so target value being 25, we hit 21. I'm super happy with that. Like, they're really high numbers. But then our show up rate was only 67%. So nearly a third of the calls that booked, and I actually think it was higher than that when I looked at it the other day. Crazy neighbors. It was even less. But like, I guess my point here is, don't collate data and look at data for the sake of just looking at data. Use it as part of your decision making. That's the point of this. So if you're at a point where you're like, you know what, I do want to run some ads, I want to warm an ad, I want to offer something, you know, Beck, you might want to, you know, do something around a course audit, for example. So if there's people that have gone onto your page around course audits, you could offer 10% off to a very small audience. So this is part of what I also use to make those decisions, because I can see those numbers very, very clearly. Trying to target 120 people is very different to trying to target 120,000 people. Your ad spend is targeted differently. The results will show differently. And if you were to target 120 people and you don't get any nibbles, any bites, any calls, then it's likely they're not the right person to begin with. So then you go back to the drawing board and go, okay, well, what is my marketing saying? What is my website saying? What's the message that it's giving? Because it's off. Otherwise, we should be booking something. Now, people are very price conscious. In saying that, though, I still think we're having record number of house sales, and, you know, people are still out there spending money. So it's quite interesting. I spoke to someone the other day who, what did they say to me? It was a real flyaway comment, like a bit like your client, Beck. It was just a nothing comment. You know, in the middle of a conversation, it was like, oh, yeah, I don't get anything from social media. It's all dead now anyway. Like, no one's doing anything on social media. And I was like, whoa, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
When you go in and you look at the data, so our ads are still doing really well, but the current ad that I have hasn't performed this month. Now, mind you, I've run that ad for the last 2.5 years. So yeah, people are probably sick of seeing the same old ad. So I've been looking at an ad agency for the last few months and interviewing and going through what they do and who's the right fit and all the things. And it's really funny because they're like, oh yeah, you don't make $10,000 a month every single month, so therefore we don't want to work with you. And then I had one of them call me today and go, oh, I think you got miscategorized and we'd actually really love to work with you. I said, yeah, that's okay, don't worry about it. I'm good. If you're going to write me off, I'm good. So anyway, back to where we're at. So I really want to know what this is. The not set piece, and this, where it's sending them, whatever that is going on there. So I need to kind of dive in a little bit and see where that lands. But then you can also then see a whole range of other pieces of information. So is it going to let me do that? Is it going to do it? Forgotten. It's been a hot minute. Yeah, direct traffic. There we go. So this is just for people that have come directly through the website. I really want to know what that is. Interesting. So the other way to have a little squiz at what's working, what's not working. So I've just come out of that explore back to the home page. Oh, I have a friend. Hello.
My friend left.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know she was here.
Yeah,
But you're letting people in without asking?
Wait, what do you mean?
I didn't know your friend was here. What do you want? I'm in a meeting.
Can I get something to eat?
You can, and then I've already cooked sausages, so I'll be up to make you some dinner in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So then it's also looking at, I guess, the summary. So, I mean, this is really interesting that we've got such a high rate of US visitors, given that I don't do any advertising in the US. Like all these random countries. So if I go view all insights, no, that's not what I want. Okay, so this is very similar, just not the exploration. So when you click here, you go here. This is just overall data. Let's do week because day is just too much. So top line's the total, and then it goes down per page. So then the next second highest is the home page, masterclass, directory, finding a consultant. That's so interesting. Let's see. So when I've gone to the landing page, it gives me the exact slug of what that page is. So join being the group, masterclass being obviously the masterclass page, CRM, about us, and then each individual. But this not set is what's very concerning. So I'll cross-reference and go on to go high level and see what that could be and see what numbers of pages, what that could look like. So this is the home page. So out of 26 people last month that visited, I think we had 21 calls booked. So that's great. Like that's a really high number. So people are going to the page and they're booking, right? So that tells me right people, right place, right time. They know exactly what they're going for. Obviously, we want a few more people signing up to the masterclass. But again, like I could run a ad to the masterclass that says, you know, jump on now, get it for free, get it, you know, before we put a price on it. Or we could run a different type of promotion to someone potentially starting out. So 41 people, 143 landing page, 98 people have gone to the CRM page. That's interesting. So is this making sense how I use this in my business and how I like come to making decisions and where I'm looking at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, straight away, I'm like, there's a leak of 72 people in the last 90 days that have come looking for me that haven't got what they wanted. Now, I work really bloody hard. So to have 70 people, it's like them walking to the front of my house, knocking on the door and I don't answer. It's the equivalent, but I've paid them to come to me. Like that's not ideal. That's not what we want. So going through and figuring out that next piece and what that's going to look like. The other part that really goes hand in hand with this is have a quick look here because my brain's forgotten what it's called. It's Search Console is what I want. And a bit like Facebook, it's a bit annoying because Google being this one entity but has all of these things all over the place. It's just not really, it's not very helpful.
User-friendly.
Correct. Oh, so probably because I've changed my thingy. Yay, go to property. Oh, So here's the other fun part. So this is part of how you get listed on Google. This is a really, really important step. So if you haven't checked this, and Beck, this is probably something for you to review because you have added a few new pages. So interesting, jessburns.com. URL is not on Google. How damaging for my business do you think that that is?
Yeah.
Not ideal. So pop that in, then we want to go request indexing. It'll basically go through the background and it will start indexing through the back end. So what we want to do is basically go through each page. It'll submit the request and it usually takes a couple of days for it to show up on Google. Let's see if the masterclass one is in here. Oh, it's the wrong one. Damn it. So I bet that's not done either because it's been a hot minute and I haven't even added that website. So that would make sense that it's not on there. For Totally Unleashed either. Cool, my about page is there. Pick a tab, Jess, any tab. Interesting, not indexed. So it's really interesting because all of this used to be when I was on WordPress, but obviously, pardon me, since I've moved it over, it's taken it all out. So even if this is something that you do once a year, just to go through, make sure everything's on there, or make sure that you add it to your to-do list. Like if you have a bit of a checklist of the things to do when you create a new landing page or a new website or whatever you need, put it on there. Even for you, Beck, building out these new landing pages, like there would be another video on YouTube or somewhere talking about this that you could add in and say, hey, just want to make sure that you action this step as well, which you'll need to do on your end if you have Google Analytics and Google Search Console. Make sure that you index this landing page. It makes you look really good and you're giving that area of expertise of this person knows their shit. They know what they're talking about, right? Questions?
I don't
it's
think
just
so.
Good reminder to, I've got to go in and check out my website. There's so many, I've got to update it.
Yeah. Sorry, Emma, what was yours?
I don't think so at this point in time.
Yeah.
I think I've just kind of got to sit with the information and play around with it and figure it out and
Just
drop
getting it
questions
done.
in.
Honestly, like it'll
Yeah.
just be getting it done. The other thing is that once it's indexed, you'll have data in here as well. So it just becomes that additional point. I guess it just depends on what data you're trying to get, what information you're trying to get, and what's the purpose of what we're looking at. So this is all around your overall website health, I guess, and how it appears in Google and ranking. The other one is more the analytics, and the explore option is all around client journey, how someone is experiencing our website. And as you would see, like there's so many other things, like there's funnel exploration. So first session, where they come through, are they on desktop, mobile? 136, like 100% abandonment rate. That's yuck. And to be honest, haven't even played with this enough, anywhere near enough, this type of report. But there's so much information that we can use and see. I want to see the page views because then I can see where everyone's going. It makes sense to me. right click. No. Create a segment from users. Ah, interesting. Custom. Yeah, there's so much in here like that we could work out.
Much data for me.
Lots of data, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't need all of this data all of the time. What we're trying to is, what is it you want to know and why are we using it? So that's why, as I said, I really like the path exploration, because I want to see where people are going and why they're going there. So if they're going from my homepage straight to the masterclass, for example, I know that this is working because this is the main part where they find that free masterclass piece. A lot of people have said banners are dead. I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. And all I've done here is added a section through Go High Level, added the text and made it link. That's it. It's nothing fancy, and it just goes to that landing page. Even on my other websites from a million years ago, I had Hello Bar, which was an app through WordPress, and it always ranked really high. It always did really well, and people opted in there at a very high level. So I find these sorts of things are tenfold more effective than a pop-up, in my personal opinion. Even if you went through and picked 2 different banners that you wanted to operate with, and it's to promote to different clients, or, you know, like, what could we do? It's interesting how many people don't go to the courses, even though they're on the website. So even on here, it would be get started as a VA. I could add as a banner and send them back to the Totally Unleashed course pages. Emma, you got no photo, girlfriend?
I'm gonna revisit that.
You just hate coming to these classes because they just give you more shit to do. You know, but even resources. So interesting that not many people are using the resources. This is the 100 things that I was talking about before. The most basic, the most basic landing page yet has a really high sign-up rate, which I always find really interesting. Lots of information, I get that, and really it's more understanding how it works, and then you can go and apply it. Yeah. Yeah, lots of information, but it's important, especially when you're running ads. I find like people go through and don't even consult that data, and then they go, oh, I'm going to run an ad to this, and then it never works. So like what would probably work really well for me right now is knowing that the 100 leads, like the 100 services page converts really highly. Anyone who's been to the masterclass page, retarget them with that ad. So it's more value on more value on more value. So that by the time they get to that next level, they are ready to buy. But like I said before, there's a lot of like really interesting things in buyer behavior this month that I haven't seen for a long time. And I'm curious as to how honest people have been. Like some of it's been, oh, my husband said no. And like I had 3 people say their husband said no.
I didn't even consult mine.
Some people do, and I'm okay with that, because it's, if you don't have a partner that's on board, it's such an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And I experienced that immensely with my ex, that, you know, even just the snide comments of, oh, but you just sit in front of a computer all day. Yeah, good on you, mate. It's not the same thing.
I think that was the reason for Jack's Yeah, like when I spoke to her,
Yes.
I think that was.
She's one of them. So hubby said no, and then I had 2 others.
There you go.
And I'm like, interesting. So now, right now, my brain goes, okay, that makes sense. What do I put in place in my process? Because normally it's not a big thing. Normally it's not enough for them to say no. So it's like, okay, what do I need to do to put in place to either nurture the husband or give to the husband as part of my nurture sequence in the lead up to that call to get them over the line? So it's just that constant evolution of the process. What is the objection? Husband. Great. How do I talk to the husband? Does he need to be on the call? Do I need to add that into my process? Does it go into an email and go, hey, don't forget about hubby. If he is part of your decision-making process, can he make the call? Feel free to forward the invite and get him on that call at the same time so he can ask the questions too. It's not often. Like, this is the most, I reckon, in such a long time that I've had husbands say no. And it's often when the wife or the woman doesn't communicate quite well enough and he doesn't see like, it used to be a lot around, am I a real person? I've written like notes and put my finger on my nose and had photos taken for husbands, like thinking that I'm AI and I'm, you know, I've gone and met people for coffee because they're not sure that I'm a real person. So it's really interesting as to that. So whether they use that as an excuse or not. The other thing I did this month or for February that I wouldn't normally do is I actually closed really hard. So one of the ladies was like, oh yeah, I just need till Monday. Okay, but what's going to change between now and Monday? Do you really want to work from home and run your own business? Or, oh, I do. And then like I was like, yeah, she's out. She's just not feeling it. I wouldn't normally close that hard, but I was like, you know what? I've got nothing to lose if they're going to say no anyway. But it's really interesting. So just playing with it, trying new things, seeing where it lands. Yeah, good fun. Cool. Well, Beck, I probably need you to edit this video so I can put it into 6-figure frequency without my kid interrupting.
Yeah.
I probably need more hours too, to be honest, because I still haven't finished those other videos yet that sat on my to-do list. I'm going to do them tomorrow. Actually, let me look at my calendar before I go gung-ho and commit to that. I'm going to do them tomorrow.
Have you put that in a calendar?
Yep, it's going in now. Done. Happy days. Cool. Well, if you need anything else, the only thing I don't think I saw was your 3 things for this week, ladies. Even if you just pop one in there, it'd be good to see what we're working towards.
Yeah.
Happy days. All right, I better go feed my kids. Beck, I will send you said video.
And I have a call to return.
Yay.
Yeah.
Thanks, team. See you.
Thank you.
Friday.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on The Jess Burns Show. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And I'd love to invite you to come and hang out in my free Facebook community for service-based women stepping into their CEO energy. Please feel free also to leave a review, as this will help other amazing women just like you find us on your preferred podcast channel. Until next time, stay empowered and totally unleashed.